What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Hope you guys are having a good Friday. At least get ready for your weekend. Hope that's well. That's going as well, planned as well. Go as planned. Um, yeah. Today we had a lot of news that came in today. I'm not gonna cover everything because that's not what I do. I just try to find the stuff that's factual. Hey, Marilyn, how you doing? So today there was Congressman Robert Garcia. I just want to say this to Robert Garcia. I don't know if you're ever going to see my stuff. I don't know how far my stuff goes. But, brother, I appreciate you. You not only fight for the Epstein survivors, you fight with passion. If you watch this brother, when he's talking, he speaks with passion. Like you can see him animated. Like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. It's like an attack dog. And I really like that because, again, we need people fighting for people. I'm a fighter for people. I'm a little, how would I say? I'm a little rough around the edges, as you can see by my beard. But I'm like the dude that just like goes, like, I'm like that dog that's like, just go up and bite you. He the dog that just go out and pesters you for a little bit. I might snip at your clothes, but I'm going straight for the jugular. So I need to put a limiter on my fight. But he does it just right. And I appreciate it, especially right enough to be on TV. So, Representative or Congressman Robert Garcia, thank you. We're gonna show a little bit of his energy toward trying to solve or get down to the core of these horrific pedophiles from Jeffrey Epstein, his whole ring of things he was doing of child and adult women as well, young adult women trafficking. Nobody does anything by themselves. That's why when Kash Patel said this past week that he didn't know of anybody else that was in this other than Jeffrey Epstein trafficking to himself, he should have got up and walked away then. Or they should have arrested his ass for lying under oath right then. Because that shit didn't make no sense whatsoever. You got women galore talking about legitimately. These are they're witnesses. They're victims / survivors that tell you these things happen to them. And the thing that gets me is this. These women are so honest now. This is the way I say they're so honest. Because in the midst of all this, they could be lying about what they've done. Meaning like they could exaggerate. They could be saying, well, he trafficked me. They've come out and many of them said, I wasn't trafficked, but I've spoke to other ones who have. That to me is honesty. Because if you look at a Republican, they lie like they breathe. In and out. If a Republican is breathing in and out, he done told 2 lies. Already. That's how fast and consistent they will lie. And so these women have legitimately told you what happened to them individually. They haven't blended their stories. They've kept the same stories, hadn't exaggerated their stories to make it worse so that you want to help them out more. They tell their stories the exact same way. And you guys are still, and this thing kills me, Republican, you MAGA people, you were flipping out. When Biden was president, you thought all Democrats was in there, which kills me. They say, this is the thing you think about the Donald Trump, like sycophants, these MAGA people. There's Democrats in there. Democrats. Who was Donald Trump back in the day when that stuff was happening? A Democrat. So what would make Donald Trump not one of those Democrats that you're looking for? Who's to say that Donald Trump wasn't in his Pizza Gate stuff because he was a Democrat back then? You guys had all these weird ass thought processes, but you didn't realize you're dealing with the king Democrat. He was the one giving money to Democrats and Republicans. He was a Democrat. And they had a rat amongst them, and they're like, I don't know nothing. All I smell is cheese. These people are stupid, man. It's comical to how dumb people can be. It really is. It really is. I mean, because to be able, I mean, and people say, well, you know, it could have been Clinton may have been in this thing. I mean, if he is, get him. Get him. I ain't got no qualms with getting him. And that's the thing that kills me is like, if it was Clinton, and I don't put this on anybody because, you know, again, if you want to say somebody that you guys care about that I cared about Obama. If it was Obama, get him. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm for this team. No, I'm for righteousness. I'm for truth. I'm for the light. I'm for facts. If something happens, get him or her. I don't care. Get him. That's what you're supposed to do. The law is supposed to be applied equally amongst all of us. I don't care if you love your favorite person, your favorite pastor, your favorite teacher, your favorite dog. I don't give a damn. If it does something wrong, it needs to pay the consequences and have repercussions for what it did. That's all it is. Thank you, Follow on Fire, for the donation. When I was 7, I find it hard to believe all of these women would put their names and faces out there if they were lying. They're not lying. I can guarantee they're not lying. I got family members who have been raped when they were 13 and so forth, what they went through. I see that in their stories. I see that. It's not something, every woman who has been not even so much as assaulted has been like put in a bad position and you got out of it before you know what it feels like to be trapped in something like that. Even if you got away, you still know what that feeling's like. You know what it feels like to say when a guy says no and you get scared because that guy doesn't stop. But he ends up or she ends up stopping. And then you're like, that could have went so south real quick. You knew what it felt like, even if you felt it for a few seconds. And so for these women to come out and destroy their name and faces, and here's the crazy part about it. They aren't suing for money. They want justice. I'm pretty sure they'll get money later, but they're doing it for justice. You haven't heard any of them, I need $5 million. None of them. Now, there may have been some they shut up and gave money and we'll never hear from them because they shut them up and gave them money. That might be true. That might be the reason why some of them decided not to come forward, took money. Because remember, Jeffrey Epstein told Ghislaine Maxwell when she was having problems that she should pay them. Don't forget to pay the money to get her witnesses off her back. So you knew that's what he did. And he was offering his money for her. Paid him off. That's what you got to do. So nonchalant. That's what he told her. These people are deep into this world. He is not the only game in town when it comes to this. This entire country has so many of these people from all over the place that have these type of child sex rings. I remember years ago, decade or so ago, working in the industry, there were so many child sex or even just sex trade and that we caught just doing undercover, going into Mexico and other places. We caught a bunch of them in our news departments and shit like undercover. It's not going to stop unless you try and put a stop to it. And even then, it's still going to be somewhere in the dark recesses of this country because there's too many evil people here. Smile in your face and do whatever kind of trash behind your back. That's just this country. I wish it wasn't. That's just not even this country. That's just humankind, and mostly, not all, but mostly men. It just is what it is. And again, don't get it twisted. Women are doing it too. But it's dominated by men. But we had Congressman Robert Garcia out here. You'll see the energy I'm talking about when he speaks here in just a second.
There have been many folks out there who have sent us information, victims who have contacted our whistleblower outreach system that we have set up. FBI agents, others, continue to get us information because we are putting together this case. And Donald Trump should know that we will not rest till we get the whole truth about what's actually in the Epstein files.
Love it. Love it. Don't stop. Keep biting at him. You know what I mean? That's what you need to do. Because these people, they know nothing. They think that everybody, this is one thing that Donald Trump, privileged people, they think that you're going to run out of energy and out of steam. Because they'll spend millions of dollars to shut this whole thing down. They've got crisis people that try to quell it. They start, release other information so that the news will get off of it. The problem they have now is a situation where news is no longer just one-dimensional. You send a fake story that's kind of crazy to the news. Everybody in the news catches on to it. They're off the topic of you fucking up as a politician and on to something else, and it never goes back to it. As they're learning, no matter how many crisis people that you have that you're paying, these stories that you pop up and you start doing crazy shit. Oh, we're trying to get drugs out of the country, so you're blowing up people in Venezuela, which kills me because he's doing that to Venezuela, and that's where he sent criminals to Venezuela that he thought were criminals, which were American citizens and just regular people who had never committed a crime. And now instead of throwing them in jail over there, he's just killing them on boats, killing people on boats. Why? Again, deterrence. There's something bigger happening. Go over there, look over there, look over there. Quit looking over at Epstein. Look over there. You notice how all this shit's like back to back to back to back. That's this crisis people trying their best to say what's out there that we can blow up and make that a big deal. What do you need to do? Donald Trump, say this. Take their First Amendment rights away. Do something. Get away from what this is all about. And I love the fact that you got people like Congressman Robert Garcia and many others, but this is the one I have today, that are out there keeping this front and center. They had a meeting today with Alex Acosta, right? Now, the thing I think about with Alex Acosta is this. He was the prosecutor at the time that gave Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal with Alan Dershowitz being the defense attorney at that time. They need to be talking to both of them. I don't know why they're just talking to one. But there's some things he can't say because of attorney-client privilege. And I don't know how attorney-client privilege, does it go beyond death? I don't know if it's like in perpetuity or is it up until death? Or I noticed that if you know the person committed a crime, you're not supposed to hide it anyway. You're supposed to tell. But that shit doesn't work that well in our society. But whatever happens with this, what's going to happen with this case, Alex Acosta had to come in front of, I guess it was for her being, I think she's a representative, so it had to be Congress today. She actually came, well, not Congress, but the representative, a congressperson. She came forward and said on, I think it was on one of the MSNBC shows later in the evening show. I think it's the weeknights. She came on. She was their guest. Now she was talking about there were a lot of Republicans who weren't there. By the time this thing was over, they weren't even listening to it. It's killing me because MAGA is the one who made this a big deal. Now here's the question. This is what I don't like about politicians. No matter who it is. This is why, truthfully, I want to revamp news and just totally go a whole different other direction with it. If we're revising everything, we need to revise it completely. Because what I can't stand is the MAGA people were the ones blowing the shit up. It is blowing this shit way the fuck up, right? Talking about, it was Democrats who were doing this, and it was Democrat this, and we need to find that list. That Epstein list is there, Kash Patel. I know it's there, the FBI has it, and they need to release it. Now he's the head of the FBI, and he hasn't released it. It's the hypocrisy. It's like everything they were lying about, or at least flipping out about on their podcast, making millions of dollars, mind you, with their followers. None of that shit they care about now. They're literally not even staying for the I guess, interview or whatever it is of Alice Acosta. And based on her, they sat down today for 6 hours, and this is Representative Melanie Stansbury, for 6 hours, and they really got hardly any information from Alice Acosta. She said he brought a book, and I'll let you hear from her voice, but she said he brought a book of all this information that he just was like reading from it. He had no recollection, it seems, of the entire thing. He just was going off his notes or whatever. And as a lawyer, of course you're going to do that because you don't want to get stumped with anything that you didn't do or anything you did do and you don't want nobody to know. But that's what he did. And, he made a few tidbits that they liked, the information that can lead forward to some things. He kind of contradicted, I believe, both the House and the Senate, hearing for Kash Patel, when Kash Patel basically said that, he couldn't release certain information because of some kind of restraining order for something, court order. They've since found out there's no such court order. So they asked him today, and you'll see what he had to say about it. Not Kash Patel. They asked Alex Acosta, who's a actual attorney, whereas Kakai Kash Patel is not one. So but it is what it is. We'll see what she has to say about what he said, meaning Alex Acosta. Let me get her up here real quick.
I think what surprised me most is how little information he actually shared in 6 hours. It takes a lot of work to not answer questions for 6 hours. And let me just put it this way. He showed up with a binder full of pre-prepared statements, evidence that he was going to use of previous statements he had disclosed. I think it was very clear that Mr. Acosta was very guarded. He did not want to share new information. But let me just say this. Everything about this case is weird, right? Like what we learned today is Acosta said multiple times under oath that he takes responsibility for making the decision to not pursue federal charges.
But why?
Exactly. Well, that is what he would not answer. He answered very affirmatively in this interview that his own line attorney had recommended prosecuting federal crimes, that the chain of command recommended pursuing federal crimes, that later in a DOJ investigation, it was found that he should have prosecuted federal crimes, but he personally chose to enter a plea agreement under state charges, and ultimately those state charges are what allowed Epstein to be in a county jail where he had work release, where he still abused women, and a non-prosecution agreement that not only shielded Epstein from further federal prosecution, but his co-conspirators.
So wait a minute. So he made a decision, Alex Acosta, to charge it as a state instead of going federal. So he made a decision, and therefore it made it so that it didn't go federal. And what was the purpose of this? This is what you were saying. He didn't tell them why he did it. So no information on that. But it's also strange how this is the same guy years later that Donald Trump brought into the White House to work for him the first presidency. See, when you start putting things together, you start realizing that in that trial, let's go back. See, I can leave it there. In that trial, Alex Acosta not only gave Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal, he also gave all of the people who were doing it with him a sweetheart deal. How do you get a deal? I've never heard of such, where you get a sweetheart deal and then you promise not to prosecute anybody else. It's usually the other way around, where you have to turn everybody else in order for you to get a better deal. Instead, he gets a better deal, and he gets to get everybody covered for not going to jail either. When do you turn yourself in and only get slapped on the wrist for underage prostitution? I didn't know there was a such thing. That's called rape. Statutory rape in some states, full on. It makes no sense to even try and say, oh, we came up with that. No, bro. Everybody should have got it. But you allowed him to have work release. And we just found out, we had questions about it. I didn't know the full-on facts. I read somewhere where it had happened, but again, not coming out of his mouth or whatever, but she just said when he was on work release, he was still raping young girls on his work release. And Alex Acosta had no emotion toward that shit. You let him out, he did the same things while you let him out. Who was watching him? Usually there's a probation. I mean, don't you just show up every once in a while without him knowing? You would have found a girl or two, because you know he went back to his old regular scheduled program. He had 3 a day. That was his appetite for the entire time, from what they were told, from what we've been told. 3 a day. You think even if he went to 2 a day, you should show up once or twice a week. I don't understand how the entire system failed. The people who are supposed to be watching him and showing up, the prosecutor. And think about this. This man raped these children. They thought, some of them even testified, he was going to be behind bars. Without telling the young ladies anything about what they're going to do, they made such a sweetheart deal that this man was out and probably raping said same girls, letting them know, look how powerful I am. I can do this and get away with it. I'm out on the weekend. This ain't nothing but just going, chilling out in a 1-bedroom, facility for 18 months. And on the weekend, I come out and still do what I do. Nobody's answering to this shit. They're acting like this is the normal thing to do. It is not. The law did not protect these women. And it's so oddly, so grossly represented the rapists and pedophiles as if they were doing nothing wrong but just having a good old time. Boys will be boys. And Donald Trump says it's a hoax. So he's on that boys will be boys mentality. Why do you think he called it locker room talk? Boys will be boys grabbing women by their vaginas. That's locker room talk. That's that boys will be boys bullshit. And we just sitting here like, it is what it is. Even though we're trying to do something with us, we really don't have anything to do. But our legal system is like, it is what it is. Now, I understand that we got some fighting there right now, but this shit been going on for decades. Where the fuck were they this entire time? I don't understand how you don't put the face of your child on these children. Back in 2008, why didn't Alex Acosta see his child going through this and have such a strong heart on the fact that I don't want this to happen to kids anymore? Why didn't he look at Jeffrey Epstein as a monster and hate his guts and want to get him instead of giving him a deal knowing he's going to go back to doing the things he was doing before? I don't understand that mentality. That's why I say I can't trust people who do shit like this, because you have no heart. There's no way in hell these kids at that time, some of them, 16, 18 years old, still underage, and you couldn't see that child as yours. You saw that child as an affront, even though you're the prosecutor, not the defense attorney. I can understand why the dirty ass what's his name? Not Alex, but the defense attorney. I can understand him. He is a dirty, nasty ass person. He don't care about nobody. But Alex Acosta, I don't know him. He's just as bad. Because you're not fighting for these girls. You're not coming to this meeting today and wanting to get these people behind bars. Today, you should be, well, I was under a lot of pressure from this person and that person to do it, but I come to tell the truth today. No, Till this day, you still aren't releasing the information that Alex Acosta knows was up. He didn't go through that trial and not get told not to charge this dude. This shit doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And with him, it did. Now, here's the thing. Doesn't happen to us. It's happening to millionaires and billionaires. And the thing that kills me is that I don't know whether it pisses me off or breaks my heart to think that people put money over people. I mean, you can spend that money and it's gone. You may get a car and a house for it. But you're walking past people every day. You're going to require people to put you in your grave, people to take care of you when you're sick, and you have no problems fucking people over. That to me is just, I don't understand it. I really don't. I understand how people can have that kind of like callousness in their heart toward, people who have never done anything to you. And they're good until they're proven bad. And you have no feelings whatsoever. None. And that's what Alex Acosta's looked like to me. He saw little kids being raped by this gross ass 785 pounds of gummed ass person. This dude, gross as he was, he couldn't see this dude on top of his daughter and she's screaming. He couldn't see that and want to like beat his lights out and put him to jail for life. You couldn't see that. You couldn't visualize that. You're an attorney where you have to visualize everything on how to defend your case or how to prosecute your case, whichever type of lawyer you are. You have to think things over and overthink them and look for little loopholes. You, for once, 1 second, couldn't think of those girls as your own kids and you were fighting for them. Or maybe you did and you just as bad. Who knows? He could be one of them. They need to start looking at Alex Acosta's past. Is that man connected to Jeffrey Epstein in any way, shape, or form? Because at this point in time, I can't understand how somebody wouldn't have a heart to help like that, especially when you go into a position of being a prosecutor. A prosecutor is trying to put bad people behind bars. And you went light on a man that did the most egregious crime, harming children. That to me says you either had no problem with it or you are part of it. Because that's sick. I don't know if they can still be harmed. The way some of these people are talking, the lawyers, they make it seem like there's still some way for them to be charged for something. I don't know what it would be. I thought, the limit for what, like how long it could be to actually, charge someone, I figured that limit would be over. Usually it's like 5 years or something. But then again, I don't know how long a charge for like an individual charge of like something of like pedophile or rape that may have like 5 years, a limit before 5 years is the estimated time between you can't be charged. But if it's a whole like ring of trafficking, sex trafficking may not have that limit. So they probably get on the whole process of being a part of a sex trafficking ring and helping fund it, because he was parking dollars, not cents. He was parking dollars, and I don't know what he was parking them for. And so that right there, all the different things they were doing, fraud and embezzling and I don't know what they were doing with this money. This money was keeping the ring running. I don't know. How much did they know? So I don't know. Those are the types of things that I would question, but they seem to think that they have something that's prosecutable. I don't know what it would be, because the statute of limitations for some of this is already way over. These kids were like 14. They're like 30 now. So I don't know. But to out them, is my thing, because again, you have to look at the fact that if they got away with it all these years, they didn't stop. It wasn't like something they just tried for the fuck of it. This is something that they are. They are this creature. It is in their heart and soul. Every day when they're walking around and I'm pretty sure many of them live near a school or by a school, they're thinking about whatever kid in that school that they find attractive. They're thinking about trafficking that child. And that's a neighbor that people was like, hey, Mr. Johnson, hey, whatever, hey, what? That dude is one of them. And that's the part. We don't know until they bring out the names. They bring out the photos. They bring out the evidence. And then we'll be able to find out more. But as far as where the limitations are, statute of limitations, I don't know. What does Dennis say? But I feel there should be no statute of limitation on rape or children. I don't think there should be. But you know, one thing I'm learning, and I have been learning for a while, about this country, because I don't know about anything else, these statute of limitations are trash a lot of times. I'm sitting there like, when somebody gets assaulted, and whatever they call it, you know, like molested, sexually molested, rape, and whatever degree of rape, also like that, I don't think any of those should be registered on how good or bad the rape was. I mean, because it's like, you know, you got levels of rape. I'm like, it should all be this, that, and it should all be egregious, you know. And like Dennis said, I don't think there should be a statute of limitations on it. If they can find out that you did it through DNA, you should be able to serve time. It should not be like, oh, the girl is traumatized and she didn't even want to say nothing. And then finally she got the strength to be able to say it because she's no longer scared of him. He's a little bit older. She's scared of him, and she's a little bit older herself, and she's strong enough to say it now. If she kept address or kept DNA, hello, you still should be able to go to jail. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's been 5 years, I can be cool now. You should be very afraid all of your life, not just 5 years. That's the way I believe. But yeah, so she continues to talk about this.
So the entire thing smells to high heaven.
Why was this behind closed doors? Why couldn't we just put the sunlight
right there.
of just the freshness to the American people, because we all want to know, and have him tell the American people, not just the members sitting in a closed room, but tell the American people, well, I can't answer that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's because it's an elaborate smokescreen designed to give cover for the President of the United States. And I want to note that, first of all, the Republicans didn't even bother staying to the end of the deposition. You know, listen, it's very clear that the White House does not want to release these files. I asked Mr. Acosta as the very last set of questions, in your opinion, does the White House have the authority to release or unseal these files as long as there is not a court order in place? And he said, it is my opinion that they do. Now, Kash Patel said twice in two different committees in the United States Senate and the House of Representatives this week under oath that he couldn't release the files because they didn't have the authority to, right? So what that points to, and at least while we didn't get a lot of new evidence and information about the motive behind why they didn't prosecute in the first place, we did get a definitive statement that absolutely the White House is engaged in a cover-up, that they have the authority to release the files.
That's it right there. They have the authority, always had. We knew that Donald Trump could release the files today if he wanted to. Because remember, this dude had thousands of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. And he was like, I can, you know, automatically turn them into like non-classified. And no, you can't. There's no process that you can do that. There's no like magic wand that you look over and say, I now pronounce these no longer classified. That's a lie. You got away with that shit, but that's what you believed. You released classified information to Russians in the Oval Office, which they should have never been. I mentioned that before. So you had every right under these Republicans, the way they believe, to release all of this. So MAGA, your guy, could release it tomorrow. No problems whatsoever. Can release it tomorrow. But he chooses not to release it. Ask yourself why he chooses not to release it. And it's some of the most craziest things for people to sit here and say, you know, like MAGA, and say like, we really care about these ladies and everything like that. You guys didn't care about them. Now you care about them. I'm like, dude, you should be happy that the Dems are just as strong as you are. I wanted it all along too, but I don't know. I didn't see the push that the Democrats, that the Republicans did when he was running for office, and they were using it as a cudgel. They were just hitting you over the head with it, because they were letting you know that the Democrats weren't as focused as they were on this topic. And I was saying the same thing, like, Merrick Garland, what the fuck is going on, bro? Release this shit. That's one thing that I agree with on the right, was release the documents. They were saying it was Democrats. I said, I don't care who it is. Release them. They didn't release them. And understand, when Democrats were in power, miss me with the bullshit. You should have released them too. Miss me with the bullshit. I ain't gonna sit here and be like covering for no party. They should have been released by you. There's a lot of times that I look at the Democrats, truthfully, and I'm one of them, lifelong, and I'm like, why in the hell didn't you get more passed when you're in office, especially when you have everything in your favor? I don't know why you didn't just bulldoze through some shit. That's what they do. And they bulldoze to fuck our lives up. Democrats, when you get into office and we want to vote y'all in, we want you to bulldoze the ideals that Democrats want to happen. You work on that healthcare plan. You work on the cost of living. I mean, hard. None of this like, we're getting to it. No, fuck that. Every day, there should be something changing. Something being passed. If you got the House and the Senate, I'm sick of you like, we didn't get that done. I'm like, no, you got a lot done, but you could have got more done dealing with every day-to-day shit. I know you got a lot done. Don't get me wrong. I know them all. I was all for Kamala Harris, and believe me, all the bills, all the things you did do, you did it. One of the things you didn't do is you didn't brag about the shit you was doing. So here's the thing that I want to also tell the Democrats who are in office. Majority of Americans aren't watching you. So if you're not bragging about it, they sure as fuck don't know about it. Because if it's not being mentioned, trust me, the other side is mentioning the total opposite. They've been saying that you aren't doing anything. You ain't passing no bills. You ain't doing this. Your cost of living is too high. Blah, blah, blah. And you guys coming out, everything's great. That ain't good enough. Even though we who follow you, we who watch and listen to news every day, we know what's going on. And we're trying to help y'all. I, amongst a lot of other people, we're out here spreading nothing but facts about what you did. But we don't have the money that you guys have. And I want you to understand something else. I don't give a damn what these Republicans and even Democrats say about, like, oh, you shouldn't take money from the Democrat Party. No, the Democrat Party should be paying Democrats who are pushing not your line, not your party line bullshit, pushing the facts. Because if you're not funding that, you're funding your little bullshit, and your bullshit ads ain't worth a damn. They don't tell the story. It's the people on the ground that's telling the story. So when people get mad that, oh, that Republicans get paid and stuff like that, I don't mind them getting paid. I hate the fact that they get paid to lie. They get scripts and they read them. No, that's not how it should go down. It should go down that you want us to hold your feet to the fire. I'm not reading a script for you. I'm holding your feet and Republicans to the fire. And if you want to be able to be a part of things like this, yes, you're going to have to put ads on our shit. You do it for other news, but we're going to tell the truth about it. You would think you want the truth, but see, here's the problem with both parties. Both of you guys have a lie level. You know what I mean? Both of you know that you're going to lie. It's what you do. You've changed lying, what we call a little lie, you guys call spin. And some people call a little lie a white lie. But they call it spin. Go into a room and lie about a topic. Fuck spinning. Tell the fucking truth. If you got hit real hard and you're feeling a little vulnerable, it's like, yeah, I should have been more prepared. Don't go in there talking about, yeah, we think we won on this, but what about that thing that just happened? Well, no, address the thing that happened. Man up, woman up, quit trying to obfuscate, quit looking to the left, look to the right, admit you fucked up, admit that your particular plan may or may not work, then get into the lab and fix it. Promise us that you're trying to make it better. Don't ignore it, because you can't fix something that you fucked up if you don't acknowledge you fucked up. You're going to continue doing the shit that's fucked up. Why would I vote for that? I want honesty. I want somebody to tell me that they're flawed, but they're fixing it. I don't want you to tell me you're perfect while you don't continue to fix the fucked up shit. That's the problem. And both parties, all parties, I'm sure, have that. Work on that. And news media, catch them on it. And if they come onto your show and they lying about it, dismiss them. Don't give them time on your air if they're going to sit there and lie to the people. The most important thing in doing shit like this is that the people who you are speaking to must trust what comes out of your fucking mouth. And if you sit there and you lie about everything, or you let somebody lie on your station, you've let that lie travel 1,000,000 miles just because you want to keep your show on the air. Fuck this shit being on the air so much. Focus on it being truthful, factual, that you're not going to let somebody get into the airways of your people and spread bullshit. If they don't have any kind of receipt to what the fuck they're talking about, and if you as a person, as a podcaster, as a news person, cable or network, if you see that and they're spreading and spewing something that you actually have stats, I mean, Google is fucking free. You got producers left and right. You let them spew their bullshit like a Scott Jennings on CNN, and you don't check it. Right there, somebody will say, well, I don't know if that's true or not. Fuck all that. I don't need them to tell me whether it's true or not. You got people in the back that could be speaking into your ear. That is not true. 1968 was not that time. It was actually 1935, and it was built for white people, not for everybody else. Boom. Factual right there. Quit sitting there just letting lies float. Because if you don't check them, people start believing them. And they're out there spreading it to everybody in their mouth. Did you know that this happened and that happened? Oh, really? And they won't even look it up. Who said it? Somebody they trust on TV. Oh, it must be true. And they're walking around with this lie because you didn't check it. You kept moving on. I would stop my show. Fuck what I got next. Stop it and talk about that topic for the rest of the show. If they don't like it, they can leave. But you're not going to lie on my show. You ain't going to expect people to sit there and be like, oh, you know, you can move on to another topic. No, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to check your source. If you ain't got no source, we're taking back what you said until you have a source. Oh, somebody told me. I don't give a fuck that's somebody. Tell me where you got it from. And if you can't tell me, bounce. You don't need to be on my show. The people that matter are the people on the other side of this camera. You coming on here being a celebrity, saying what you guys say, and whatever, head podcaster, whatever you may be, making millions, you don't matter in that case. The people out there matter. They need to know the truth. Because the way they walk their life every day is based upon the facts that you give them. If you tell them something's going to happen and they trust you and they go out and it doesn't happen, then they can't really trust you. They'll give you leeway every once in a while. Now, I'm not talking about a weather person because they really can't predict the weather. That ain't it. They see what's coming, but they don't know for sure if it's going to make a last turn and last minute, you know, God just going to go and push it over there instead of your neighborhood where they say it was coming. They don't know that. But I'm talking about like stuff that has factual information to it. It's like, oh, this is going to happen. And it doesn't happen because they didn't really give you facts. That type of thing. But yeah, anyway, that's my little rant about this shit. That's what I get fed up with the media, is because they don't tell you the truth. They allow, even if the media source itself is coming on with facts and they have it written in front of them, these are facts, the guests they bring on, they give them too much leeway to say whatever the fuck they want to say. They can say what they want to say, but I'm sorry, you're not going to push trash that isn't true, non-facts that aren't true. Your opinion based on some shit that's very important, we're going to notify that that's your opinion. It's not fact. I wouldn't do that. And that's the thing that I don't like about news, is that too often in mainstream media, we let it float. You know what I mean? They let it float big time. And you'd be like, dude, you let that Scott Jennings shit get by. And what he just said was a complete and utter lie. And now people are believing that just because you want to get Republicans to start watching you. It's like, dude, you can't cater to the people like that. You got to give them the truth, and whether they like it or not. It's not about making them happy so they tune back in. It's about letting them be informed, whether they be happy or sad with the outcome. It's the facts that matter, not their feelings about the facts. Don't want lies, because then they're all happy about something that's not going to happen. And again, you look like the person that just feeds propaganda and lies. It's very simple, media. This is what I think mainstream media, you guys messed up many, many years ago when you started chasing the dollars instead of making sense. You get on and be sensationalists and say all this other crap. Well, this is going on and that's going on just so that you can get people to see you and tune into you. Tune in at 5 o'clock, da-da-da-da-da. And at 5 o'clock, there was nothing to be da-da-da-da-done about. It was the same information everybody else had. You just wanted to promote to get people on your station to make money. Had you really had some information, they'd be coming to you. But the thing about our country now, that the MAGAs have trained a lot of the masses, even though they may not be MAGA, they're sitting there watching Fox. Fox has the largest group, and it shocked me when I found this out years ago. The largest group of people watching, their ratings are the highest, and they are the most lionist station in the world. These people lie about everything. Every show is filled with lie after lie after lie, sensationalism and lies. And I'm like, I thought you guys were tired of lies, and that's all you go over there to do is see it. Too many millions of people, way more than MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, go to see Fox. And Fox is the epitome of what everybody hates about news. They're worse. They're worse. They ended up paying $787 million for lying so much that they didn't care because the people kept buying it, and therefore they was coming to their show and their station. And once they found out that they were lying, they still kept coming because they didn't promote it. And we just settled for this, that, and the third. More lies for you. There's a lot to be worked with mainstream media, but you need to figure out a way to get trusted and back into the game again. And doing stuff like what ABC just did and the CBS did and ABC did earlier this year, in giving $16 million to Donald Trump. He out here, Donald Trump, using that $16 million as a cudgel. As a cudgel, hitting people over the head. Boom. $16 million they gave me because, you guys weren't doing everything. You're saying the wrong things about me. It's like the $16 million was, again, should have been fought ABC because you would have won. All you did, ABC, was edit a video. It had nothing to do with him. It was all Kamala Harris. He was trying to say that because it was edited, that was unfair to me. I'm like, dude, almost every Fox interview you had was heavily edited. On Sean Hannity, almost all that shit was edited. So she has a right to go ahead and sue ABC too. And Sean Hannity and Fox. But you don't see her suing everybody. But he is. She could sue for the same amount because they did the exact same thing on Fox and NBC, I believe, with Donald Trump. It just doesn't make any sense, y'all. It doesn't. So we're going to listen to Donald Trump whine again about this FCC stuff that's going on. And Donald Trump was, again, the Brendan Carr. He said he's not done with the FCC stuff. So it appears that he's trying to get more stations knocked off the air or something. And I don't know how many of these stations are going through mergers. I don't know. One of the things I think Americans should start paying attention to is that we need to stop these media conglomerates buying up everything. And The only way that I know for us to do it, because I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I mean, somebody else may know. Of course, using our dollars and things like that to make sense, is that we need to find people that we do trust, and try to figure out how we can put together, a network of our own of people who are trusted. That way, it can be a resource that, that's just like comes on your TV, but your smart TV, just like news and cable stations would be. I want you to know a little bit about the history, from the left, not from the left, from the history for news. News was networked. It had only like 3 stations, and that was it. Kenneth said, turn the audio down because you could hear Donald Trump. In the news, there was 3 networks: ABC, NBC, CBS, right? And of course, you had some other small stations and so forth, and public TV. But that's where you got most of your news from, and the Walter Cronkites and so forth. They were all, the people that we trusted. They got the news on, right? And I think it was Father on Fire was talking about, it was like an hour, and that was it. It was nothing overwhelming. It wasn't like 24-hour news. It was like an hour maybe. If something really was happening, it may have lasted for a couple hours or so. If it was something going on live that was very important, like a war or something like that, and they had information. So having all that, but there was like 3 networks, and then you had your own network that you liked, but they pretty much ran the same. It was, they never really got like huge scoops, and if they did, the others that earlier on, they didn't share a lot. So if something happened where you knew one station got it, then you would turn to ABC, because CBS wouldn't have it and ABC wouldn't have it, or whatever it is. They'd turn to CBS or whatever it may be. They would have it. It would be, that station would have it and run with it. So friends would be calling you, girl, turn to CBS. They got this, because nobody else had it. But when they started making news 24 hours, they started making a lot of sensational bullshit just so they can fill the time. And you can blame like Ted Warner and shit like for that type of shit. I think his last name was Warner. But he's the one who did Warner Classics, and Ted Turner. There you go. I'm sorry. Ted Turner. He's the one that started all this 24-hour shit. Just trying to pull more money in. It became more sensationalist, became more advertising and stuff like that. News didn't used to be highly profitable. And so we started doing that. Now, news went from network, which we had the FCC with network. Well, network did not have reign, and still does not have reign over cable. So cable can say certain things. Like on the network, you can't say, F this and all that. There's so many words that you can't say back in the day. George Carl used to talk about that in his one of his skits, comedy skits, but he would talk about that stand-up, that there were 7 words you couldn't say, and he would just say them, blah, 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 back to back. And that was on regular TV, FCC regulated. Cable came out, which was a competition to regular network. And network was the big dog, so they're like, oh, we don't care about the network news. That's network. That's nothing, right? Well, just like anything in life, the newest thing that comes out ends up taking over the oldest thing, right? So network became, like the dinosaurs when you started seeing the cable networks come out. Right? The regular stations, ABC, and stuff, they started going to the wayside. Even though they were still one of the big dogs, networks started to take them over. If you remember in business, must understand. If you remember Blockbuster, right? Movies. In Blockbuster, their biggest issue was that they saw Netflix coming, but they did not duck. They got knocked the fuck out. They got Mike Tyson. Why? Because they did not listen. One of the things about big businesses, they're slow. They do not pay attention to any kind of, trend at all. They need to. They need to have a department that's focused just on trends, because it gives them a better understanding on how to move. So and that's how they ended up, Blockbuster ended up falling apart, because they didn't listen to Netflix. And they should have came up with something to compete with Netflix before it got big, but they didn't. So they fell apart. Same thing with news. News network didn't listen to cable. Now cable is having problems. There needs to be the new thing that comes out that knocks cable and network out. And I believe it should be something new that's focused on facts. And I believe it should be also interactive. The people who are at home should be able, and the only way that's going to be is through it being streaming, through it being something of that nature, where you can interact with it and also pitch ideas for local stories that you may live in your particular city and state, and also for national stories that you may think that rise to occasion that everybody in the world needs to know. Instead of having a phone call, you could be able to do it online while you're watching it live. That type of thing, I think the news should move forward to, instead of the old school way. This way you hold your anchor, your reporter, your podcaster, whomever accountable for their particular actions or what they say, and keep it factual so that we're all on the same page. Not in a situation to be mad at your anchor or whatever, but to verify that we're all on the same page. And it makes it easier for a person who's the media person like myself to be fact checked right away and be like, boom, 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 while I got the audience here. And if I got the audience here, I'm like, wait a minute, I've been challenged by, whomever, Scott63. I go in, check it out, look it up, get a few sources. Scott's right. Information is more credible than what I brought, it was just released an hour ago, and information I got was 5 hours old. So he's right. This is the story now. That to me, keeping everybody's feet to the fire, that to me is like the new way of doing news, I believe. And that, like I said, I come up with solutions. So I think about implementing that type of stuff, and hopefully those are the types of things that come forward. Because again, I get tired of gotcha moments in news. I see, Pierce Morgan had Don Lemon on trying to get you into gotcha shit. And it's like, dude, that gotcha shit's old. You know what I mean? If something is truthful, then you need to be checked right then. It's enough for you putting your opinion out there and making people look bad, and then there's no like repercussions for it. There's no way to compare what, to find that fact out. Me, if you invite me to the show and you say something I don't know the answer, I'm breaking out my phone. You can keep talking to me all you want. I ain't answering it until I figure out whether you said was true or not. You can take me off the air, but that's the way I think it should be done. I'm checking to see if you're factual. I'm not just gonna let that shit ride. Move on to somebody else while I check you, and I'm gonna check them. I ain't gonna sit there and be like letting that shit fly. It ain't gonna happen. And if I don't know the answer, I'm like, I don't know the answer, but I'm checking on it. So those are the types of things that I look forward to, the things that we need to do. But Donald Trump has got the FCC. I don't care what anybody thinks. This is another thing with CNN and MSNBC and all stuff like that. They're so afraid to say something that I understand that you don't know if it's factual, but you don't have to say that certain thing is fact. This is what's going on, right? And as we find out facts, we'll let you know. Like Donald Trump saying that he wants his FCC director, chairman or whatever, to start like basically canceling shows should be a red flag for anybody. And anybody should be standing up to him and saying, that's not legal. You're doing something illegal, or you're doing something that's just against the rules. He should not be doing anything like this. And instead you get, it's like, oh, they don't have that stern type of action. But now John Carl, this brother, earlier in the week, Donald Trump threatened him and said, he said, when he told him, he said, you know what? I got $16 million from your station. They know what it is about telling the truth or whatever. Just using it again to knock him over the head with. And he's like, I basically, I'm not, he didn't say this, but he's like, I'm not ABC. I work for them, but that's on them. Or whatever, I think it was ABC. Yeah, ABC. I'm not them. I'm going to keep asking the questions. I'm not going to, and the way he keeps on asking him or saying it to him, he acts like he's supposed to give him a message to shut the fuck up. Don't ask me this type of questions because I sued you before. I sue you again. Now give me another question. Make it good this time. That's the attitude he's getting. He's giving, rather. And so you'll get to see that, and Kenneth can turn the shit down.
These airways, they make millions and millions of dollars. The news makes millions of dollars. ABC, your network, I mean, your network wrote very badly about me, and they had to pay me $16 million.
So do you think
I
you have a
wasn't
right,
looking
or
for
that
that.
Brendan Carr has a right to
No, I
take
think
away the
Brendan Carr is
licenses?
a patriot. I think Brendan Carr is a courageous person.
Courageous person to go out and take somebody's First Amendment rights just because your feelings are hurt. I mean, Jesus. How can a bully be such a punk? You can't take the heat. They talk about me 90% of the time. You used to love the fact that your name was even being mentioned, whether it was good or bad. And now you want people to just hold your hand and sing kumbaya. I look at it this way. Donald Trump, start doing some good shit and you'll get good press. Continue being an ass and you'll get what you deserve. It's just that simple. When you do bad shit, they report on it. That's it. When you do stupid shit, they report on it. That's it. Do some smart, funny, charismatic. I know you don't have those gears, but that's why you don't get that information. You understand? Obama didn't get this type of heat that you got because why? Because the things he said was always uplifting. Obama could literally lose a fortune and he'd be like talking, well, I lost it, but at least I had it. You be on there bitching, well, I didn't lose it. Where's it at? Well, I don't know, but it don't seem to be here, but I didn't lose it. It must have lost me. I didn't lose it. I don't lose stuff. I win all the time. You'd be like, dude, we see you lost it. I don't know what you're talking about. I won it. And so that's why they make fun of you, because you were in la la land. You turned dumb shit into dipshit. And other people will literally talk to you like humans that have at least an 8th grade education. You still stuck in the 3rd grade. I mean, you like 1 month behind or ahead of just sucking your thumb. And you ain't too far away from getting back to sucking your thumb. At this age, you'll be sucking your thumb for about 6-7 months. Wondering who your wife is. Who the pretty lady? Who the pretty lady? It's your wife, you dipshit. Pretty's a stretch, but still, you know what I'm saying? Is what it is. Let's listen to this fool. Whine some more.
I think Brendan Carr doesn't like to see the airwaves be used illegally and incorrectly and purposely horribly. Doesn't like to see a person that won the election in a landslide get 97% bad publicity before the election.
He actually did not win by that much. After everything is settled, he had a very narrow win. He still won. I'm just saying, the dude can't even just take a win. I'm like, you won, bro. Why you gotta exaggerate on how you won? I mean, I'm telling you. And it's not a slight, but this man thinks he's the brightest person. I'm telling you, Donald Trump either has Down syndrome, and that's disrespectful to Down syndrome people. I'm hella sorry. But he has some kind of ailment his entire life. There is no way in hell that somebody is this stupid without an ailment. That he has something. I don't care what it is. Even Down syndrome people are smart as hell, but in one aspect, you know what I'm saying? Like they may count and shit. Donald Trump can't even count. So I don't know what he got. Super Down syndrome. I don't know what the hell he got, but I know he got something. Because I have never met somebody this stupid that was average. And I mean, he ain't average because he's too damn stupid. Average person has more intellect than Donald Trump. But he has, to me, a mastery on fuckery. He knows how to fuck with people and bully people into submission. And the reason why, not because he's smart, everybody that bows to Trump, this is my personal belief. Everybody that bows to Trump, Trump's got some dirt on. You gotta look the way. Think about this for a hot second. Michael Cohen said Donald Trump back in the day when he was, being tried and stuff like that, said that Donald Trump was like a mob boss. He wouldn't tell you what you wanted, but he would mention it, and you kind of knew what you wanted. He wanted you to do, and you go do it. So, with that being said, and he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein was a person who held secrets of other people. and got them to give him money because he had their secrets, and he kept them secret because he was getting paid. He wasn't investing shit. He didn't have a license to invest nothing. He had no licenses to invest, to be able to do any. He didn't have no CPA license. He couldn't do nobody's taxes. He had none of the above. So when you start to read Donald Trump's letter talking about secrets and wonderful secrets and all this shit like that and an enigma, because you don't know what he does. That's the thing. Donald Trump saying you didn't know what he does. He was killing businesses left and right. But it makes sense if he was not really losing that money. He was money laundering, because that's what he was doing for the house that Jeffrey Epstein got pissed off about. So when you find out that he was money laundering for the Russians based off of what Jeffrey Epstein told Michael Wolff, why would he stop there? Remember, Michael Wolff said that Jeffrey Epstein was going to buy a house for $30 million. Donald Trump bid up under him without him knowing $40 million. He knew Donald Trump didn't have $40 million because he dealt with his finances, which means this man was taking everybody's money and doing something with it. That was probably highly illegal, seeing as how he did not have any licenses to do so. So $40 million, and Donald Trump got the house for $40 million and sold it to a Russian oligarch months later, I think 18 months later or something like that, for $90 million. 40, you made $50 million profit. Now, you know Donald Trump didn't get $50 million for that house. What he did was money launder it through that house. That was that guy's money. Donald Trump got a cut of it. So why you don't think that he didn't do that to the casinos? Get the money from everywhere and just launder it and let it die. And then just take his cut and keep it moving. Donald Trump is dirty. Always has been. The things that $500-something million he owed to New York. When you are that dirty, people who know you that dirty. And therefore they know they can do dirt around you because you got dirt on him just as much as he got dirt on you. So all this shit that Donald Trump has learned is to get dirt on people. And you'll start seeing all these people, if you go back and look, when they were just regular Republicans before they became MAGA, got around Donald Trump, I guarantee you he recorded everything around them. And then you start seeing them switch. He continued doing what Jeffrey Epstein did. Record people and bribe them. That's why you see Donald Trump getting away with shit. He always gets away. Why? Because he got all of them in his back pocket. Wait till this man dies. You're going to see documents come out of him like crazy. Donald Trump ain't got this shit in his head. This shit is on paper, on radio, on cassettes, somewhere. Trust and believe. This man has been dirty his entire life. You look at his dad's history and how he was dealing with real estate, dirty. You look at him, he's been in a dirty group. He was dirty with his dad. He gets into dirt with a pedophile. Who the pedophile says he got into dirt with Russian oligarchs. And he won't say a cross thing about Russians because they probably got dirt on him. You notice no matter what, I don't feel really good about it with the Putin thing. I'm really frustrated. But he never says, let's get him. He never does. He tries to talk tough. But as much as Donald Trump talks tougher to Rosie O'Donnell than he does Putin. Come on now. Rougher to a comedian, a female comedian, who ain't even living in America no more. I think she's in Ireland or something like that, Rosie O'Donnell. Then he talks about Putin, and Putin is the one who got nukes, just like we do. He said Putin like a strong man. I'm like, bruh, what strong man is he liking? Because it sure in the hell ain't you. You're not strong. To Putin, you're a baby. Because you don't have a backbone. How many times you don't win and said you're going to do something to Putin, and then you turn around, well, I guess I can give him a couple more days, and give him a month, give him 16. They even asked him like recently, like, you know, it's been a month since that you told Putin to do what he done, and he hasn't done it. He goes, has a month gone by already? Get your weekend at Bernie's ass up out your casket and recognize you're still alive, fool. Of course, 2 weeks on a month on went by already. And he ain't been no prepared for jack. Ain't prepared for shit. Just talking. I mean, how can you Republicans and MAGA look at this man and say that he's strong? And the only thing that makes me understand it is that they think he's strong only because he got him by the nut hairs. Every last one of them, that he's got something on him. Something they said, something they did. One of these meetings or many of these meetings early on were recorded. They had no idea. They did not know how treacherous this man was until they had whatever evidence is on them. I mean, this man, I promise you, because that's what Jeffrey Epstein did. And that's what Donald Trump said in that letter, that the secrets, he trafficked in secrets. Donald Trump trafficked in secrets. You can't tell me he doesn't have either pictures or photographs or information about these men and their weird afflictions, what they have in their mind. Because remember, I don't know if you remember this, the Republican kid that was in a wheelchair, and they caught him kind of like dressed up in, I ain't gonna say women's clothes, but he was like dressed up in something that was very provocative, like he was drunk or something like that. And then he came out and he left. The wheelchair guy, he's no longer in politics. And he came out and said that they had, like, the Republicans, they had all these weird parties and orgies. That's what he said. And if they did have those, best believe Donald Trump was recording it. And he was probably the one who held the party. He was doing his Diddy thing. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it. He hung out with both of these people. Was cool as shit with Epstein, and that's how he did his shit recorded. Can't tell me. And if he got money by doing that and having a facility, what do you think Donald Trump has done with Mar-a-Lago? What do you think Donald Trump has done to any of his properties? They all being recorded. In every one of these parties they went to, there's recordings of them doing whatever they're doing. So Lindsey Graham, you know they don't caught you with a man. You know they have. So you don't want to say nothing. All of them. They'll come out and say, I don't like this. And then a few days later, well, I didn't really care for it, but it's fine now. Everything's working out. He done got a call. I got that picture of you and that dog, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Tell me about it. I'm telling you, this is the way Jeffrey Epstein worked. Donald Trump was his best friend doing the same dirt as him. So I just want to say that no matter what, Donald Trump is in some dirt. His name is in there for a reason. And if you don't want this to be true, Donald Trump, put out the documents and make us a liar. Put out the documents. You have opportunity to do it. You ain't going to do it because you know that you're in there doing some dirt. Because that's your whole life, bro. Dirt. That's it. We done studied your dad. We done studied you. I studied your one of your brothers, Mary's dad. I didn't study your mom and your kids. So I got a little bit of information about them. Public figures. So I know you've been a dirty person your entire life, bro. Entire life. So whatever's in those documents is dirty. Now, how dirty? We don't know. Were you just funding it or were you taking part? And some people already said you took part in it. But we'll see. But that's that fool. He had to say his little 2 cents. Oh, I got one more thing for y'all. Y'all going trip. Deport Melania. That's what I'm saying. She got here illegally anyway. But again, I'll say release the Epstein files. You got it. You got the opportunity to do it, Donald Trump. And MAGA should be like wanting it as well. Some of them have already been still pissed off about it. It hasn't been released. But I don't know if you guys got to see. We're going to watch this whole thing. About 4 minutes or so, I guess. I'll commentate in between it. Senator Markwayne Mullin. Step to the front of the class here. You was in a hearing, and you were going at Dr. Menarez. Mm-hmm. and your whole little spiel, we're about to see. But I want you to know, when you see this, that this is indicative of all these Republicans at some point in time in their political career, they've done something like this. Maybe not as egregious, but I know one recently, last year, or whatever it was just as bad. But this is what they do. And this is why you get tired of politicians. You're about to see Senator Markwayne Mullin go in. And I mean, this fool has a whole story behind what he's saying. And we'll do it. We'll let you see it. After this is the last one I'm going to show y'all today. But let's get it. Let's see if we got it, man. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Your conversation with the secretary, you said that he said he didn't trust you.
Correct.
You testified to that. Is that really how that conversation went? Because there's other people in the room, and I think the conversation was, can he trust you?
Now, he's talking about being in a room with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. already testified, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said, and it didn't make any fucking sense, but at the time, and I think a few of the senators actually called him on it. But he, at the time, he said that he brought her into the room and he asked her, "Can I trust you?" And she said no. And he said, "I fired her on the spot because I can't trust her." And whoever was asking the question at the time, it was like, "You want us to believe she's a liar then, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, because that didn't happen." It's all right, cool. So now we got Senator Markwayne Mullin literally trying to defend Robert F. Kennedy Jr. by calling this woman a liar. And you'll see his little pervasive and kind of devious ways of going about things. And he's lying through his teeth, but let him tell it. It's like, wow.
And your answer was?
He said he could not trust me.
No. The answer, ma'am, it was a recorded meeting. So you can testify one way, or you can prove that you're lying or give them be honest with this committee. And I'm giving you the opportunity to be honest here because you've been really walking around the edges and not being truthful. So did he ask you the question, can he trust you? And your answer was?
He told me he could not trust me. And I told him if he could not trust me, he could fire me.
That isn't how that conversation went.
He was there? No.
And you know that, don't you?
He told me he could not trust me. And I told him if he could not trust me, he could fire me.
Ma'am, all we're looking for is you to be honest. And you haven't been. You're not being honest with the conversation you're having. You're not being honest with the timeline, and you won't even give the answers of who your attorneys were. And all we're looking for is you to be honest. If we're going to have a hearing and we're going to discuss certain things, let's make sure we're talking with someone that we can trust your answers. It's like my kids. I tell my kids all the time,
He brings his kids in on this lie. His kids, so he can try and make it attachable, like this shit actually happened. This is what I tell my kids. Kids, run. Your dad is a person who can look you in the face and lie through his teeth. This man may not be your dad, and if he isn't, you're probably lucky as fuck. Go live with the good dad, because this devil right here, you don't want to be a part of this dude's spawn. Not at all. Just listen to this man. He's trying to make her into a liar, and on top of that, bringing his kids in to try and make it seem like it's a little softer situation, but I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I'm gonna bring my kids on it. He brought his kids, his children, in on a major fucking lie to give himself credibility in his whack-ass little story.
one thing I want from you, I can deal with any situation we walk into as long as I know you're being 100% honest with me. The minute I can't tell you're being honest with me, I can't trust you. From then on, everything you say is questioned. And you have to question you because your personality and your answers aren't correct.
Your personality isn't correct, The fuck her personality gotta be? He's trying to tell her she needs to have a better personality than being a truth teller. She's supposed to lie because you're sitting here trying to say that her personality isn't correct. He's attacking her with a lie like he has the truth on his side. Demons. These people are demons. I mean, what person lies and try to make you feel guilty about telling the fucking truth, knowing in his heart of hearts he's making this shit up? It's coming from the dark side. This ain't nothing but Satan speaking. And this dude sitting here talking about, I'm a Christian and my family. Your family is not safe with you leading it, sir. If you was my dad, I want to have a single home family. Because my mom raised me better than your ass. By far.
I understand Senator Mullen implied there was a recording of the meeting or meetings between Dr. Menarez and Secretary Kennedy. I will note that if materials have been provided to Senator Mullen and invoked in official committee business, they are committee records, and all other senators on the committee have the right to see those records.
He didn't expect that. He didn't expect that he'd get called up on his lie. So this guy right here, I forget his name right now on the top of my head. I think, can't remember his name right now. But this guy, he's the one, it's right there, I think. Let me see. Oh, Senator Cassidy. Senator Cassidy. He is the one that's a doctor. And he's the one that, you know, that knows that RFK Jr. is a piece of shit. And he voted him in, though. Should have known better. Again, fell down that rabbit hole. So this man asked, where's those documents? If you got a tape, which you just said, and the thing is, they can lie because they're not on the oath. She is. But they shouldn't be able to. But he said that he had a tape that he heard, and he told this lady, you're not being truthful because that's not what happened. Other people was in that room, and that's not what happened. She stuck to her guns because she knew what the fuck happened. He wasn't in the room, but he wanted to believe RFK Jr. So then, this guy right here, Cassidy, hey, produce the tape so we can check out if she's lying.
I will also note, if HHS has a recording, I asked them to release the recording. I'd also like to know why it was recorded. But releasing the recording would be radical transparency. And this is about fulfilling the president's vision of radical transparency. This is allegiance to President Trump's values. And so I'd ask that that recording be released.
What values this man speaks of? See, even when they on the right side, they still whack. Crazy as shit. But he knows Donald Trump ain't got a moral. He can't even spell moral. I guarantee you, he thinks there's a Z in that bitch. This man is not smart.
I'll also note that we put in a request for any documents or communications that would bring transparency to the situation. We have not yet received those documents. If a recording does not exist, I ask Senator Mullen to retract his line of questions. For the record, it's just been reported that Senator Mullen told reporters that he was mistaken in saying that the RFK Menarez meeting was recorded. But in case he's mistaken that he was mistaken, if there is a recording, it should be released. And it would beg the question of what other conversations were recorded. And I'll repeat what I said earlier. We have sent a request to HHS for records related to these incidences. We've yet to receive those. But of course, it would help the committee, which on both sides has found itself scratching its head.
Senator Mark Wayne Mullen lied through his teeth and got caught. See, shit like this, there should be a strike system. I mean, you can't just lie to the American people and lie in a room and try to catch people in lies, pull some like good officer, bad officer bullshit. And then when you find out that you're lying, you don't come back and tell the person that you called a liar that you're sorry. This dude, at the very minimum, should have had to bring his little dumbass right back into that room and apologize to that woman for making that fucking outrageous lie, and then brought your kids in on it. brought your kids in on it. Has no morals. And they wonder why nobody likes him or wants to accept him except for the whack ass people in their own little cult, their own little MAGA gang. And they want everybody to love him. Like Donald Trump, he want everybody to love him. So now he wants to force everybody to love him. You don't love me, then I'm gonna turn off the TV. Turn off your rights. I'm gonna turn off this and the third. If you don't love me, nobody's gonna love you, dude. You might as well go to the grave right now and hopefully God will love you. But I know he ain't. He gonna turn you away just like your parents did, or at least should have did. There's no way in hell that you're gonna get good press unless you do good things. How do you he always talking about, well, we got some good press. Obama gave hope. He didn't give hate. People who thought Obama was hateful were nothing but racist ass white people that thought that they should have been the center of attention while he was the president. He should have never talked about black people. He should have never talked about Latin people. He should have never talked about immigrants in a positive way. You should have just talked great about white males. And if that's the case, you hate America if you don't like Americans. And like, Americans is all of us. Nope, Americans just white men. All the rest of y'all are something else. And they all was so huffy and puffy, acting like Obama said something to them that was negative. The man was a uniter, not a divider. The divider in chief, they tried to call him, give him that label. The man that included everybody. The man that invited over people to his home to have a beer and a burger. That dude. Well, Donald Trump, and even then they had like whatever burgers was down there in the restaurant and at the White House or whatever, and that's just good food. Donald Trump invite people to eat. Wants McDonald's. Fool, I thought you was a billionaire. You feeding people McDonald's instead of like tomahawk steaks and shit. The brokest rich person I ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump acts like he just totally poor. Everything he does is poor. The only thing he spends money on is gold. And it's gaudy as hell. I'm surprised that Donald Trump doesn't have a whole grill filled with gold teeth. I'm surprised. I'm like, dude, you like gold everything. Why ain't you walking around with a gold medallion, gold nipple rings? I mean, you just like gold so much, let's put it on. It's just the weirdest thing. This dude is literally supposed to be a billionaire. And he going around eating McDonald's and shit and fried chicken. That's why your ankle is big as fuck. Oh, balloon ankle having bastard. But anyway, don't respect traders. I don't like it big time. But yeah, but that had me. My man was all hurt. They don't like say a lot of good things about me in the news, and that's just not right. It's just not right. It's like he keeps on going up. I seen one interview. He said something like that. Yeah, it's about 60%, 70%. But they don't say anything good about me. Then now he's like, oh, there's like 95%. Tomorrow he's gonna be there's like 785,000%. Said, dude, it's only 100. Well, there's 785,000 hundreds, thousands, millions, hundreds, bigly. He sound like he need like a blanket or something that he can curl up to so he can get over his little emo feelings. Go ahead and cry it out, bro. Cry it out. Come back, be a man. Cry that shit out for a minute. Then man up. Quit complaining about shit you don't have. You rich. People out here just barely got food. And they cry about it in the room and wake up the next day and I'm a fight and they keep on moving. Nope, not you. You rich as hell and still acting like you a broke person or something. You never been broke your entire life. It's killing me. This dude, I'm telling you, something wrong with him. He's mentally ill. He is one of the people that we need to put in a home instead of put him in the White House. It is what it is. But yeah, this is this is a show where I make myself laugh sometimes. I think back on what I just said. What does God say? His cankles are cracked and oozing KFC grease. Dallas is the reason his ankles are swollen. What did it say? His ankles look like what is it? Wop can biscuits? Who said it? Vicky. Yeah, crazy. Bigot Trimp. what does it say? His man days are over. He back in diapers, right? John Brilliant or John Brown Alliance. There you go. Oh, 5 on Fire, you gone? Take care, man. Have a great night. I appreciate you all. Good night, 5 on Fire, man. Have a good one. I read your information. Thank you again for the donations. Let's see. All right, we're about to get up out of here. You guys have a great weekend. I know I got some stuff playing. My Sunday show on TikTok is we listen to old school music and watch an old school movie. So it ranges from 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, everywhere. But I don't know what I'm gonna get this weekend. But we watch an old school movie over there on Mr. Straight Facts 2023. If you want to go check that out. Other than that, you'll see me here back here on Monday around the same time, 5:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll get it in. Let's just hope, man, things get a little better. But look out for, again, like as always, our petition so far. Defend our First Amendment. I saw that they boycotted ABC, Disney here in Los Angeles, which is great. We got 283 supporters. I didn't put the link up here, but you can go check it out. But let me see if I can get it. Copy the link and paste it here. That way people can actually have it in here. That's the link to the, let's see what we can do with it. Pin it at the top. There you go. All right. So therefore it'll always be there until this thing closes. But that's the link. 283 supporters who are, fighting back, boycotting ABC and Disney until they put him back on air and apologize. If anybody needs to apologize to anybody, it should be ABC and Disney apologizing to the Americans who supported them and helped them become as rich as they are, and also to Jimmy Kimmel, and to fight back on Donald Trump. Fuck your merger. Fight back for the people, and you'll grow. Otherwise, it's either the people or Donald, whichever one you want. It can't be both. All right, so you guys go check that out. Thank you, John Brown. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much, John Brown. You guys, y'all have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and I'll see you next week. All right? I'll see you when I see you.